Evening, everybody. It has just gone 9:45 on Monday, the 1st of May. We're now within the 26-week, 6-month countdown to the Pure Elite Pro World Championships at the end of October. Yesterday, looking through the images of the first Coleman Classic competition just up the road in Dartford, makes me realise just how much I love competing. I spent the afternoon looking through those after rereading some feedback I got from a fitness professional who I asked to give me some feedback as a result of my competition just over 4 weeks ago. Now, I, like many fitness competitors, am always striving to get better and improve and look leaner, more muscular and bigger. And I'm never really satisfied every time I look in the mirror. I think I vlogged some time ago about whenever I look in the mirror, I always see something very scrawny and ill-defined looking back at me. Despite the success I had at the Amateur UK Championships just over 4 weeks ago, one thing that has been playing on my mind is, am I good enough to compete against other pros? Will I ever be good enough to compete against other pros? The feedback I got was that if I want to be taken seriously as a fitness competitor, then I really need to up my game and work on my areas of physique that are my weakest, which is my size mostly. It was suggested that the only way I would be able to do that would be to take some incredibly powerful synthetic enhancers, steroids in other words, or human growth hormones. I'm sort of offended by that. I'm not against anyone taking them at all, obviously. If people want to do it, it's their choice, it's their life. But it was suggested that 26 weeks is too short a period of time to make the changes needed to get better. And of course, this person may be right. But then a number of fitness professionals said that I'd never be ready for the 1st of April. And of course, they were wrong, as I came away with 2 third places and a first. So I did what I always do when I'm feeling a bit stressed and down. I took myself off to the gym, a new gym here in Sittingbourne, Snap Fitness in Sittingbourne. Never been to Snap Fitness before. Actually, a pretty good gym, to be honest. Pretty well equipped, quite small, very busy, a mixed crowd, but yeah, some pretty good equipment. And I did my favourite exercise, deadlift, and lifted some incredibly heavy weights, over twice my body weight. Did that for 5 sets of 8. Really enjoyed it. Completely destroys your central nervous system, but the feeling you get of knowing that you make progress week on week and actually shifting some heavy weight is awesome. It's incredibly uplifting. And it sort of given me a bit more clarity. One of the other issues I've got is I was already aware of the work I had to do on my physique and my posing, and I've already put steps in place to make those improvements. But one thing that has become apparent over the past 4 weeks is that irrespective of what I want to do, there is an impact of prepping for competition on those around me. And I'm already very time poor because of the business that I run and the industry that I work in. And I need to make more time for my friends and family. And I struggle to do that anyway. So I need to make a decision and I need to stick to it. And I always do that. I don't have any regrets, to be honest, or very rarely. And once I do make a decision, I stick with it, whatever the consequences. What is obvious, or what's become obvious to me over the past few weeks, is that there are a large number of people watching what I do and using my journey as some inspiration and motivation to start theirs. And on the basis that I'm not a fitness professional, that my day is incredibly long, as are many people my age with kids, careers, partners, commitments, there is a consensus that if I can do it, pretty much anybody can, and that's true. There is a TV interview that I did last Thursday that gets aired this week that talks about my motivation and why I did it and how I managed to do it and what the next steps are. And I've made a very public commitment that I'm going to do my best to perform my best at the Pro World Championships, and that decision's therefore already been made. I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before to make sure that I don't look daft on stage. And ideally, I am a competitor, and I'm going to compete to see how well I do. And any placement is always a bonus. But it has got me thinking that one of the outcomes I was hoping for as a result of competing on the 1st of April was to convince people that age was simply a number, and that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to become a fitness competitor and compete against younger guys in modelling categories, so be it. But the reality is very different, and whilst you do have the choice to compete, winning and placing is an uphill struggle when you reach your late 30s, early 40s and above. And that's presumably why there are other categories that pull you off the older you get into your own separate groupings, not just with Pure Elite, but with virtually every federation. In fact, every federation. And of course, the industry trying to get sponsorship deals is notoriously difficult with companies when you reach a certain age, although I'm convinced that all those companies are missing a trick, because people my age and in my industry have got massive disposable incomes compared to a 21-year-old. I suspect disposable income of the average 39-year-old professional man who's been working for the best part of 16 years plus is 2 or 3 times larger than that of a 21-year-old just leaving university. But anyway, perhaps the marketing companies or the marketing professionals of some of these fitness brands might click onto that one day and start tapping into the potential that is wasted, I think. But we'll leave that for another day. There is definitely something to be said for people my age, late 30s, almost 40, trying to inspire people of a similar age towards lifestyles that embrace health and fitness. And therefore I've decided that not only am I going to do my best to compete in October, I'm going to try and do my best to place in a number of categories. So to do that, I'm going to fundamentally change the way that I now prep for training. I'm no longer going to treat it as a hobby. I'm going to treat it as a second career, as a second job. I was doing that to an extent anyway, but I'm now going to really up my game. I'm now going to treat prepping for competition the next 26 weeks as my second full-time job. The one thing that we have noticed over the last 4 weeks is I don't need a cheat meal. My metabolism is so hyper fast. Every time I've had one, my metabolism peaks even further and spikes, causing my weight to plummet the following week, even though I'm on 4,500 calories. So cheat meals may, unfortunately, in their current state anyway, and without any direct intervention of people telling me what else I can have, cheat meals may have to become a thing of the past, which is disappointing, particularly in terms of its impact on the date nights that I'd had planned over the next few weeks. But I'm sure that people can give me some advice on how I can still have cheat nights without it adversely affecting my metabolism and my weight. My performance at the gym is improving, but not at the rate that I need it to. The gains in my weaker areas are not progressing at the rate that I need them to. Some of that is psychological, some of that is confidence-based, and I need to work on my confidence in those areas, particularly in terms of chest. Bear with me a second. But I've got a plan in place to accommodate those things as well. So my message is clear. It is still a roller coaster. My headspace post-competition is still not where it needs to be, but it is getting there. And by the end of this week, by the middle of this week, in fact by tomorrow morning, I'm hoping that it will be there. I know what I need to do in terms of changes to my approach to training and nutrition. I'll be having a long conversation with a number of people tomorrow to work on the areas that I still need to work on. But as I've said, there are too many people following the journey now. I can't let them down, and I can't let myself down, even if I don't compete again after October. Even if I do just go back to being an ordinary fit and healthy guy who happens to go to the gym occasionally, so be it. But if I don't enter the World Championships in October, I know I'm going to regret it. And if I don't give it my 100% all, I know I'm really going to regret it. So on that basis, I'm in it. I'm going to try my best to see how well I do, but I do need to make some changes, and I do need to treat it as a as a second professional career. So starting from tomorrow, that's exactly what we will be doing. So on that note, thanks for listening. Hope it wasn't too boring, and I will speak to you all again soon. Have a great bank holiday, what's left of it, Monday. Good night.